Hello, and welcome back to Writing Women, the show where I talk about the women who exist in fiction and the people who created them. This week is the conclusion to the Trickster duology, or Daughter of the Lioness series, Trickster's Queen. Twixter's Queen. Hello to all of you beautiful people who found me from my last video on racist tropes in fiction. This video is going to be a little bit different from that one, but I promise more of those are coming. There is a little bit about stuff like that at the end of this video after the summary, so if you want to stick around for that, that would be cool. Videos like that other one just take a little bit longer for me to put together because I do have to do a lot more research for them. Whereas this kind, it's just rereading a book that I've already read in this case, or sometimes reading a book that I haven't read yet, which I can do fairly quickly. This is my first time recording using my new computer, which I had to buy because my laptop was not working for what I needed anymore. Nothing like the smell of new computer and fresh debt to get you up in the morning and throwing yourself into work. I've been out at work a lot this week, so yet again, this summary is mostly from fan wikis, but with some heavy editing to make it readable, because for some reason the fan wiki summaries are not very readable. Now that that's all out of the way, let's get into Trickster's Queen. The Balatang family returns to Rajmuat after their exile. The young Elsrin is now the lord of the family and also heir to the throne after the child king. The Raka of the Copper Isles are ready for their revolution and to bring down the tyrannical Ridvan dynasty. Aly has spent the winter months building her spy network, referred to affectionately as her pack, and planning her next move against the Ridvan rulers. Aly also receives help from her Tortalan family, Darkings from her Aunt Dane. She keeps them a secret and puts them in places she knows will glean information. In the city, Aly targets Topaba, the feared Luaran spy master of the Isles. She tricks him into pulling her into his service and feeds him wrong information. She has plans to take him down, but the other conspirators don't think she can pull it off because he has been spy master for decades. Aly uses her connections in the palace to feed the regents and their spies information about Topaba, while she feeds Topaba information about them and that they have lost faith in Topaba. He is eventually executed and made an example by the regents, meaning that his body is hung by the harbor for all to see. The regents support Sevmire, Prince Rubinion's personal spy master, as Topaba's replacement. Aly's relationship with Nawat Crow also takes a turn for the worst as he is struggling to find his place in the world. He feels that she constantly demeans him as a man and doesn't feel like he belongs. Ulasim sends Nawat off to a faraway island to help with the rebellion there. Sarai has become vocal about her displeasure with how her people are treated and impulsively speaks out about it. Her impulsiveness could get them all publicly branded as traitors. Dove is a different story, and Kiprioth trusts her to keep silent enough to meet her. The Raka of the city constantly gather to watch Sarai pass by them. They want to see their future queen or to touch her to know that she is real. Unfortunately, these public displays are dangerous for the conspirators. The regents notice Sarai's growing popularity and offer her a marriage to King Dunavan, which would allow them to control her, and also hopefully get the Raka under control. Sarai thinks she has no choice but to do it, so she runs away with Zaimid, a Karthaki healer who will soon be the royal healer to the Emperor, and who Sarai has secretly been in love with. Aly is trapped by the Karthaki god the Graveyard Hag, who is responding to prayers by Zaimid. Dove then becomes the new queen candidate for the rebellion. Aly is discovered by Tabor, the captain of the King's Guard, but he isn't interested in exposing her, as he knows that spies are inevitable. They begin a very interesting friendship with Aly pretending she doesn't know what he's talking about, and him joking and knowing that she is a spy. Because of his love for the king, Tabor is staunchly allied with the Ridvans, but not the regents. On Dunavan's birthday, Princess Imogen and Prince Rubinion hire mages to create a killer storm while Dunavan, Elsrin, and other young boys are out celebrating Dunavan's birthday on a ship. The ship had been tampered with and comes apart with the first wave, and Tabor knows that the regents killed his king. He lets Aly know that he will help her when the time comes for whatever she is planning. Tortal and Marin also withdraw their trade from the Isles, refusing to do business with king killers. Nawat also returns, confident in himself now, and he and Aly rekindle their romance. As Imogen and Rubinion declare themselves in charge after Dunavan and Elsrin's demise, they prove to be terrible rulers. Imogen throws Duke Nomru, one of the most powerful men of the realm, into Kanodang, the prison. The rebellion's first major act is to release Duke Nomru and several others of the rebellion from the prison, knowing that the Ridvans will think the Luaran nobility were responsible for Nomru's release. Since her victory with Topaba, Aly begins to turn their new king and queen against each other, planting evidence that Rubinion is having an affair with another noblewoman. The Raka conspiracy makes its final move when assassins target Dove when the Balatangs are returning home from the Grey Palace. A large Kudarung, a winged horse, comes to save her, showing the city that she is the true queen mentioned in the Kiprish prophecy. They attack the Grey Palace in force at dawn, with Dove flying above the battle on the Kudarung. Ulasim dies when he kills Prince Rubinian, and Achobu and Janai Dodeka also die in the fighting. Imogen commits suicide rather than face the judgment of the new rulers, and the conspiracy is victorious. After Dove has taken control of the Isles, Aly informs them of her parentage and who she really is. But they don't see it as an issue. She then marries Nawat after being accepted as Dove's new spy master. In the epilogue, a large Tortalan delegation with many members of her family come to recognize the new queen, and Aly meets with them in secret. She and her mother finally bury the hatchet and become friends. Aly is also pregnant with her first child. So, a lot of my problems with this book are direct descendants of my problems with the last book. Aly is very special and smart and constantly has better tools than these very well-trained Raka conspirators who have been at this their whole lives. When Winna finds out about the conspiracy, she says that she always knew something was going on with the Raka in her house, but that she had just kind of let them do it because she thought it was important to encourage that kind of thing. And seriously, we're really going there? Y'all do realize how infantilizing that is, right? Like the gentle mother who knows her kids are sneaking around stealing cookies and just shakes her head thinking, oh, those little scamps. These people are supposed to be respected warriors and leaders of this widespread rebellion, and they have kept it hidden for all of these years, and yet also Winna knew something was going on all along, so they weren't really that good at what they did because they couldn't keep it a secret from her. It's little things like this that get under my skin and stay there, and I especially hate it in a book where I am so absolutely invested in what's happening, despite my kind of disliking the main character. Aly has a lot of not like other girls thoughts about Sarai. She's mean about her being flirtatious, while in the same thought admitting that she used to be the same way, and that she's now somehow better because she doesn't do that anymore. She and Dove sit together and sneer about how Sarai acts because Sarai's different from them, and that's pretty crappy from a universe that had Alana welcoming Thayet and all of her beauty and charm, despite the two being very different people. Sarai making the choice to live a life that she wants is great, but I don't like the implication that she's too dumb and emotional to be a good ruler. Sarai is shown to be extremely good at getting people on her side when she wants to and understands the political situation of her people to a point where she is so angry that she can't contain it anymore. If she had actually been told about the plan to put her on the throne before they returned to the city, she likely would have had the entire court on her side quickly, because she understands how to talk to people and win their hearts. I understand why the midpoint twist was put in there and how much it adds to the drama. I just wish it could have been done without constantly saying that Sarai being charming was worthless, or that all she was good at was looking pretty on horseback, because she's repeatedly shown to be much more than that in the actual text of the book, and it is ignored because pretty girl bad. She's not the good kind of pretty girl like Queen Thayet. She's the bad kind of pretty girl who would have been a bad queen. The addition of the Darkings here I think is just lazy, honestly. We even have to get a long explanation between Aly and the Darkings about how they are still around and not dead, or in the Dragonlands. It's something that loudly stands out to me because it means most of the useful info Aly gets in this book comes not from her own talents as a spy, but from very convenient gifts from important people she knows. She is so very special and chosen one-y that she literally calls on a god to convince people of things when they don't believe her, instead of relying on the wit we are constantly told that she has. In the first book, the god took her around to show her things, gave her the gift of the crow's aid, convinced powerful mages to help her, and in this book there is more of the same, with the addition of all of this magical help from her family. She does almost nothing on the basis of just her own talents, and yet she is still the white girl who is uniquely qualified to help all these poor brown people rebel against their government. And that's not even getting into the very United States-like morality of secretly aiding rebel forces in a rival country to destabilize then topple their government. Of course, since this is a controlled fantasy world, it is because the Tortallans want to put the right ruler on the throne and bring the country freedom. I keep trying to say nice things, but I keep getting heated about the few specific things that make me angry instead, so I'm going to completely leave it there for anything bad and only talk about things I liked for the rest of this episode. I liked Aly's relationship with Nawat more in this book than the last. Somebody on Tumblr pointed out that Nawat is one of the only male versions of the born sexy yesterday trope, where he is born fully formed and hot into the world, just ready to be drooled over by the protagonist despite his baby brain, where he doesn't understand anything about the world or how to interact with people. Though it did suck having to lose his presence for most of this book, it was really important for him to become independent and find his own way as an adult person, before coming back to Aly and having a real human relationship with her. I feel that way about that trope all the time, but when the baby mind character is a woman, they rarely get that opportunity and instead rely solely on the man they latch onto to teach them the ways of the world. So it was really great to see Nawat get to go out and be himself for a while. The imagery in this book is just as good as every other Tamara Pierce book. I actually get chills every time I read the passage where the Darkings tell Aly that Dove is flying over the battle on the back of the Kuturung stallion. I just got them again when I typed that, and again when I just said it. I still would have liked this series to be from Dove's perspective, but I understand that its value as fan service would be next to nothing if that were the case. There's even a completely fan service-oriented scene in the epilogue where we see most of the main characters from previous series and even learn that Dane named her son Rick Ash, something that would not really make sense at all or matter at all to anybody who had just read this series. I always enjoy the dialogue in Tammy's books, even if all of the main characters fall into the sassy pants category. I'd rather read about a sassy main character than anything else. The way the Darkings talk has always made me laugh too. Honestly, a lot in this book made me laugh. I think it's really important to stress that as critical as I am of this book and the previous one, I really absolutely love them. I get strong emotional responses to every single scene and barely manage to avoid crying a handful of times. I welcome disagreement and discussion and do not want to shut anybody down if they don't agree with me, because my life experiences are going to make me read things differently than all of yours will. There is no such thing as objective criticism. Anyway, that's all I got for this week. I'll be back again next week with another episode. I will be doing one of two things for next week. I will either be doing a regular book episode, or I will be doing another video like my Racist Tropes one. It will depend entirely on how much time I have after work to get things recorded and edited. Thanks for listening and sticking with me. Subscribe if you want to see more stuff from me, and if you want to be one of the lovely folks who are helping me pay off this monstrous computer, head over to my Patreon at patreon.com/writingwomen, because that's the only way I can make money for the work I put in on here. Thank you to my current patrons, Mary Doc Brandybuck, Ms. Psycho, Amy Chu, aka The Doctor, Lord Butterbutt, and Bruce.